Hi, and welcome to Ted's Turning and my workshop. This is my friend Preston McQueen, and today he's going to share with you how he takes an old piece of wood, scrap wood, a liquor bottle, and make this beautiful hurricane tea candle patio light out of it.
Yeah, Ted, thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, hi, good morning. Today we're going to show you how we make this really nice tea light slash fairy light holder, and it really looks cool on your patio or in your dining room or for mood lights or whatever. We're going to take a empty liquor bottle that we've enjoyed and some pieces of wood that the only requirement is that they're wider than the bottle. So let's first talk about the tools you're going to use. I have the luxury of having several pieces that you don't have to have, but it just makes it go quicker if you have it. But a couple of critical things are a ruler to see what the diameter of the bottle is. If you have calipers, that works great. I use the owl to put the center hole in there. This is a regular hardware store glass etcher cutter. I've got a skew that I use to make the dovetail on the tenon, a couple of parting tools, a badan to work on the tenon again, a bowl gouge or a smaller bowl gouge or a spindle gouge will work. You don't have to have both of those. Then I've got 3 different chucks here. I'll use this when we're cutting the bottle, and then I don't use it anymore. I've got a dovetail chuck to initially hold the wood while I'm shaping it, and then when we go to reverse chuck it, I'll use this on the inside of the hole that we drill with a Jacob's chuck. And of course, your spur drive came with your lathe and your center finder. And I have a rubber chucky that you could make yourself out of wood, or the cone attachment would work too if you protected it. Got a candle for heating the bottle up, and of course safety glasses that I'm going to wear all the time. All right, I'm going to mount the bottle now and explain that. So I'm going to go over pretty quick. I'm only using the lathe as a precision holding device. Have a pad here in my chuck. Try to center the bottle in it. Slide the tailstock over, spin it a little bit, and you're ready to take your hardware store etcher and go. You want to hold it against the glass, the little wheel thing, and hopefully I'll get it straight this time. Sometimes I don't. So I just push it against the glass, and here it goes. And it just moved there. Okay, it came back to the right place. I don't know if you can zoom in here and see it, but I'm going to angle it just a little bit, and you can hear it is cutting now, or etching. And that's it. Ta-da! All right, here we are. We've scored it, and we're ready to cut it or separate the bottle. And I've got a candle here. Probably a better candle would work better, but I'm just going to line the candle up with the score line. Get it right underneath it, where I get the heat coming all the way around it. And the bottle may get a little black, but that'll come off pretty easy. I need to slowly rotate it, and as you do rotate it, you can feel how hot it was getting. And it's pretty hot now. So after an undetermined amount of time, you'll hear some popping. As I'm spinning it, I can see I didn't get a great score all the way across, but it should still work fine. And if you don't get a good score and you notice it, you can always go back and score it again. We're going to go to a bottle that's already cut. All right, So after you've heated it up and the popping happens, you'll get two pieces here that are really nice. And they're very sharp. You can see here how sharp it is. And then you take it to your sander and you get a nice rough surface on it. And I'll show you how to do that real quick. All right, so we just cut this, and now we've got to sand it to where it's not sharp anymore to cut you. So I thought I had to get some fancy glass cutting abrasion materials, but I said I'll try what I've got. I had a nice little belt sander, so I'll just hold it on here, turn it on, rotate it around like this, maybe move it a little bit. So that gets to the very bottom, and you can see when it changes colors. Let me get here. It gets a dull where it's sharp. Here's the way it looks right after it comes off there, and that'll slice you for sure. So when you get this dull color, and you can carefully touch it, so at least it's good, then I would go all the way around like this, back and forth like that. So that gets two of your three surfaces. You got the outside, the very bottom. Now you got to do the inside. And it just so works out that the diameter of the bottle is such that if you're careful, you can hold it right here while the belt's moving and go like that. Move it around, and then it's safe to touch. You're good to go. Now the turning. And this is a maple block. It looks like it's about 3 or 4, sort of. So I'm just going to use the jaws to support it and bring the tailstock up into the center. Lock it down. Tighten it up. And start low and just see if it's running right. And we don't have any vibration. And I want to stop it again. I'll set my tool rest. Get everything tight. And I'm going to use the bowl gouge on this to round it off. And I think it's going to work great. In my bevel. So every once in a while you want to stop and inspect things, and I've gotten enough wood away that I can move the tool rest closer, and that's going to be a lot safer to cut. There's not going to be as much vibration, and I'm going to work on the back part over here. Here we go. I've got it against my body. I like seeing those little whisper shavings. All right, I've got it round now. Now I'm going to start rounding it over a little bit. here, got some design opportunities. We're going to go with a T-lathe. So I'm going to reconfigure the tailstock with the Jacobs chuck and drill that out now. So again, on the Jacobs chucks, we're going to turn about 300 or 400. And I need to go in as deep as the candle is, and I think it's about 3/4 of an inch. And the drill bit is not quite that much, so I'll take it in, measure. It's like an iterative kind of thing. One of the things when you're doing round work is you don't measure as much as you do when you're doing flat work. Probably, yeah, sorry, I should have taken that out quicker. So that's good. You want it a little low because as you're finishing the top here and sanding, you're going to take wood off. So it's just a little low, and probably I will fix that as I continue to work on it. I think that's good. Okay. So as I mentioned, I'm going to finish off the face here, and you normally would sand all this up, but we're going to skip the sanding. Don't want everybody to be so bored. One thing I like to do is to go inside. Because you don't want it to cut you. See, that's almost there, perfect now. With a little sanding, you probably take half of that off. And I can take some more off, but I think that'll be just fine there. Sometimes the real candles are not as deep, so you want to factor that in. I do not recommend using the new the real candles for a fire hazard, and also your glass will get real hot and will burn you, or maybe even will break. So I think this is pretty good for now. So let's pretend we've sanded it, and we're going to be ready to measure the bottle and put the groove in it. Right. Okay, I'm happy with the way the T-lathe fits in there. So the next thing you do is to cut the groove for the bottle to fit on. The bottle is going to fit in like this. And the calipers are real handy for that. Again, a ruler will work if you don't have calipers. I'd recommend getting some. And I don't really care what the number is, but I'm just going to transfer the information from the glass onto the piece of wood. And one way to do that would be, before you drilled the hole and you had the center line, you could have done this, and you could have divided this by half and done it that way. I'm going to estimate this. I'm going to start right here. And see, that's going to give me, I'm going to sneak up on it as they say, because you can't really tell if you've got it cindered or not. So I'm going to use a parting tool for that. That's about the same thickness as the glass bottle. First time I saw somebody do this, I was really blown away. I thought, that's the coolest thing in the world. That you can make a mark there. Obviously, everybody's pretty familiar with that. Precise. So, if you remember when I marked it with the calipers, I was just eyeballing it, and I really can't tell if I was in the center or not, but I know it's close. But this is the real thing that you're going to use. So I'm going to put that on there, and I think I'm going to try to turn it on and see if it will score the wood. Nope. So I just put it on there, and I'm going to mark it right here. That's going to be close to the inside measurement. And you can see I was pretty close. So I think I'm still going to work on my original line, because I don't want to get exactly right, because I don't want it to be really loose. I want it to be a tight enough fit where you're not going to feel like it's going to fall off and damage something. And I'm actually going to use a thin parting tool to start with, because then I can adjust that better than the thick one. So I want to line it up. This is sort of, I can use this for support and go in there just like that. And if everything goes right, it will fit. And I'm going to keep sneaking up on it. Okay, that's a little loose now there, so I'm going to come out more. You can see I've got another ridge there now. It's still a little big. So I'll be able to blend those in, and I won't have any trouble there at the end. All right, we continue to sneak up on it. I need to take just a little more off. All right, that fits just like I want it to now. Now I need to go down further where there'll be a recess here that will help hold it in. I'm going to use the wider parting tool for that. It turned out that this piece, probably not the best piece to do this with, because this is going to be pretty thin. but we've got that there. And when it stands up, it's got a nice lip there. It's not so tight. Oh, one other thing I should have mentioned is you probably want to have drier wood because you really don't want the movement of the wood. Okay? So now I'm going to pretty this up a little bit here. And I can go down further also. So I decided to go down further where it's a little fatter, and I'm changing tools to a diamond parting tool. I think that's good. It's a little thicker there, and with a little sanding, that'll be nice. Would have been better to have had a thicker piece of wood, but again, some of the wax on the candle is making this brown, which will clean up just great. So now I'm going to finish off this face here where I made those trowel cuts. Whenever I do something, as you can tell, there's always opportunities for correction and improvement, or maybe design changes, however you want to call them. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to take it out and reverse it in the expansion chuck, and I'll work on the bottom. All right, so I unchucked it, changed chucks, and see how that's good there. And just a quick test here. Looks pretty good. There's a little movement, but very happy with that. Now, to reverse chuck it, you put the, I don't know what the jaws are called, the skinny jaws, and this is a Talon chuck, by the way, and push it all the way in and tighten it up. And when you think about it, when you're inside chucking like this, the metal is stronger than the wood, so you want to get it tight, but if you keep turning it, it'll crack your wood. That should be good there. So I'm going to have the end here, the edge. I'll make a little feed out here, and then give it a little concave inside. And you can do all kinds of interesting things on the inside. Some texturing, some rings, put your mark on it. Just depending on how you want to do it. Here's the marks from the chuck. I'm probably going to round this over here to start with. And then sort of make it sort of a ball shape a little bit. Well, I'm just using the skew again as a scraper. Looking down from the top here, it's sort of a has a fat bottom on it, and a lot of their turnings we like to have a skinny base, but with this I want to have a fatter base to give it more stability. And I'm going to work on the inside here. Now, if you have your point tool, or however you want to do it, and some sanding, and we're pretty much. So here we are wrapping up. We've sanded the piece, probably on the lathe, and what I usually use for a finish to really pop the grain is a third of tung oil, poly, and mineral spirits, and you can mix it up yourself. You can see the lines here, and let's just put it together. I'll get the light on if you want that. We stuffed the fairy light in the bottle. Turned it on, that one, and this was the original one. And some of the bottles are sort of cool, they've got some kind of crest on them or something like that. And enjoy it, and hope you make one for yourself, and happy turning. It's always a good time to empty the bottle too, right, first, and wash it.